How does Israel's relationship with Iran affect you? You'll find out today on Faith and Freedom with our special guest, Dr. Alex Bligh. Hi, I'm Shawn Akers, Dean of the Helms School of Government and Vice President for Middle Eastern Affairs with Liberty Counsel. Joining us again today in studio is Dr. Alex Bligh, a prolific author, writer, and lecturer, and also now a visiting professor of law at Liberty University School of Law. Dr. Bligh, thank you for being with us again today.
Thank you.
One of the things that we are all watching in the news, Dr. Bligh, is this very rudely choreographed dance with the state of Iran and the questions of how Israel should respond and how America should respond both to Israel and to Iran itself. And you have written and thought extensively on this, and have also mentioned in the past a concept of the little Satan and the great Satan. Can you tell us how we should be thinking about this dynamic with the state of Iran?
Yeah, I think that when we look at Iran, we do see some change for the worse in the last 30, 35 years, something like that. The radical Muslim revolution took place back in 1979, and at that time, radical Muslims not only took over, but they defined the United States of America and the State of Israel as the enemies of the Muslim Republic. I hope that at least some of our listeners still remember the 52 hostages taken by the Revolutionary Guards at that time. And, of course, in violation of the Vienna Treaty, of diplomatic immunity, against anything that we all share as some rules of behavior on the diplomatic level. And what is interesting today, 32, 33 years later, is that Iran has not really changed. If it has changed, it's for the worse. Back then, people took to the streets under the orders of the mullahs, saying very bad things about the big Satan, the United States of America, about the smaller Satan, Israel. And down with America, down with Israel was the slogan that you would hear time and again. Today, what we see is that they are trying to develop a nuclear bomb, and their president is very clear on that, very much like the German leaders in the 1930s spoke about the destruction of the Jewish people. He is very clear. He is developing his nuclear power in order to wipe Israel out of the map. Now, I've heard so many times by people, don't take them too seriously. These are just words. Well, I'm a member of the Jewish people. The Jewish people already heard such voices and already heard the voices telling us not to take very seriously whatever our enemies are saying. Now, when Hitler said that in the 1920s in his book Mein Kampf, he spoke very clearly about the destruction of the Jewish people.
Yes.
And everyone all around the globe said, oh, well, he's not serious. He would become the chancellor, everything would be fine. He became the chancellor, and we witnessed the most horrific genocide ever to take place on the planet. Now, we all are speaking about the 6 million Jews that perished in the Holocaust. But we forget that today, 65 years or 67 years after the end of World War II, we do not have with us the children of the 6 million that perished.
That's right.
So we're talking here about a disaster that cannot be compared to anything that has ever happened on the planet. And they realize that unfortunately many war criminals have been conducting genocide all over the world, especially in Africa. And my heart goes for them. And yet we have to remember that the Holocaust of the Germans against the Jews was the once and only time that people put in writing a plan to destroy a people in its entirety. Now, you cannot blame a Jewish boy from Tel Aviv, a member of a family of survivors, for taking Ahmadinejad very seriously. And of course, I'm not alone. I am listening to my Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, who said time and again, it is the 1930s all over again with one major difference. The Israeli Defense Forces did not exist in the 1930s.
That's right.
And the United States of America, that major force in the world, was not an ally of the state that did not exist back then.
You know, you recently wrote just an incredible article in Israel Hayom that makes such a poignant point. We would all love to think that if we could go back, if we could just go back to the years just before the Holocaust, and if we knew what was going on, if we knew what was going through Hitler's mind, surely America would do something. Surely we would come to the rescue. Surely we would stop this tragedy, and we would pay anything to go back and do that. We think that.
Yes.
But now you make the point that we are, and Prime Minister Netanyahu's made this point.
Yes.
We are there right now, and we have just recently, Jose Aznar, the former Prime Minister of Spain, spoke very openly about he's one of the few Westerners that has had the opportunity to visit with the Ayatollah Khamenei, and the Khamenei was very open with him that that war with the United States and war with Israel is unavoidable. They have been very serious, and when we listen, you know, it only takes just a half cup of common sense to make sense of the foreign diplomacy with the state of Iran. When we hear people saying, Doctor, that Iran deserves the ability of nuclear defense just like everyone else, I think it's worth reminding everybody that everyone else doesn't have a modern version of Mein Kampf as a part of their official public policy.
And it is much more than that. If we believe the media all over the world, Israel does have an arsenal of nuclear bombs. Mm-hmm. We in Israel don't know what to think about it. This is what we call ambiguity policy, or policy of ambiguity. In any case, the point here is that Israel has never said any word threatening any of the Arab countries. If indeed we do have that, it is only so that we will be able to deter any potential enemy. Of course, the United States has behaved the very same. Mm-hmm. For 45 years, there was a Cold War with the Soviet Union.
That's right.
And the United States never, but never, threatened any other player with the usage of the nuclear power, obviously with the exception of August 1945. Mm-hmm. But after we all saw what happened then, we all learned our lesson. So the world, all the nuclear powers today, even the Soviets at the old times, realized that you cannot play with these toys.
Right.
The only player on earth today that says, okay, I'm going to have it and I'm going to use it, is Iran. And therefore, even though personally, like I believe most people, I don't like anyone having nuclear power, I realize, being a realistic, that at times we must have some deterrence power. We, I mean the Western world or the free world. But here, I cannot appreciate the fact that Iran might have it, because Iran will use it if we let them have it.
Dr. Bligh, tomorrow maybe we can talk about how you think the world should view, and Israel should, and the United States should respond to that threat. There are a variety of options available. Many of them need to be discussed more openly and more intelligently than the media is currently allowing. But for you, our listeners, this week you're being given an inside look from not just an Israeli citizen, but a very learned Israeli citizen who's been an advisor to the Prime Minister and is giving you a first-hand look at how you can conceive of these complicated issues. If you'd like to learn more about how to become involved in supporting the State of Israel, visit us at lc.org or call us at any time at 1-800-671-1776. Again, that's lc.org and 1-800-671-1776.